Hello everyone, I'm Balazs, and today I'm going to make the first brown bag session for you, or I'm going to show you the first brown bag session. Actually, the tool that I'm going to, or I would like to show you, is not a developer tool, but it's a useful tool nevertheless. It's the Obsidian. Actually, the Obsidian is for purposes that I always found fascinating and terrifying at the same time. It's the time management and knowledge management. It can be a really hard thing to do or a really easy thing to do depending on your personality, but it's something that should be done nevertheless. There are a lot of tools that you can use to do this. Notion, Evernote, Teams, Microsoft To Do, or even Google Keep, or just a notepad, or I used the OneNote for a long time. I tried a lot of stuff from these, but none were really working for me. Then this topic popped up in one of our conversations at TrustBit, how we can manage knowledge, how we can manage our stuff, our daily work, and the important things to mention or to store. We started thinking about all the different tools, and parallel to that, some friends of mine just showed me Obsidian, and I thought I'm going to give it a try. And I played around with it for 1 month, and after a month I had a brown bag about it, and now I would like to show you this brown bag, because I think the Obsidian is a really good tool that actually fulfills all my requirements that I would want from such a knowledge management and time management system. So what is Obsidian? Actually, it's an open source application. It's multi-platform, so you can download it for Mac, for Windows, even for Android as well. So although it's maybe not that good to use this on a really small layout, it is actually a wiki-style note-taking app. So the navigation between the notes is realized via links, wiki links. But what really stands out and what is really a good thing about Obsidian is the graph, where you can visualize the links between your nodes. So the Obsidian was designed by some important aspects. So the first one is that your notes belong to you. So there are a lot of tools where they are storing your notes in a special format, in a binary format, in their own format, which you can maybe export, and maybe, if you're lucky, you can import into another one. The problem is that if your licensing runs out, or you don't like the tool anymore, or maybe the tool goes out of business, then your notes go with it. So actually, the core principle, one of the core principles of Obsidian was the notes belong to you. So you should be able to read them anytime, anywhere, independently from the tool with which you are managing the notes. The notes are actually in your local file system, and they are in a plain text format, which means that you can even, if you would like, you can even edit it with a plain notepad or whatever. But of course, the Obsidian is going to do much more for you with these notes. So one important aspect was the data ownership. Your notes belong to you. It is not on some cloud. It's not in a server. It's on your machine if you want to. Because it's in a folder structure, any other applications can even modify them. So maybe you can have a command line tool that watches whether a file is changing there in the folder, and then it can do something about it. Maybe a tool that is putting some additional info in the notes, or maybe just replacing text there. So there are a lot of opportunities here. Another important core principle is that the links are first-class citizens, which means that you are not only making notes and maybe just put the links in them, but the links are really important, and the Obsidian maintains the links in any direction, forward, backward. The backward linking is called backlinks. You can visualize the links with the visual tool. You can even find new connections between your nodes, and it's going to help you organize these nodes. Another interesting or important aspect is that the tool was designed to be extendable from the start, which means that there are some core functionality there, which is already really useful, but they couldn't think of anything, or because it's such flexible, other people can write their own plugins that would put more functionality into the Obsidian as well. Another important aspect is that they really focused on performance and low memory consumption. Although it's an Electron app, this is why it's platform independent, and we have really bad experiences. We've called it some bad experiences with Electron apps because they are they need a lot of resources, CPU and memory as well. But somehow the Obsidian team managed to spin it in a way or change it, set it up in a way that it really consumes really few memory. On my machine, it's mostly between 50 and 70, or maybe even less megabytes. So it is really good. It is not something that is going to pull your CPU down and that's going to block you from doing other stuff. And because you're making notes and you're documenting stuff, the search was a really important aspect as well. The Obsidian team even collected ideas from other applications, like for instance, the search from the Visual Studio Code. Okay, it's a note-taking system, that's good. What can you use it for? So they officially titled this tool as a knowledge management system, which means that you can use it as a second brain. If you have any ideas, maybe you just want to write a diary, maybe you just want to put your things, what you've done during the day into a log, which you would like to use later to put into Toggle, for instance, to book the hours. If you want to use it for learning, you can write down the stuff that you read somewhere, and the Obsidian even has an outlining and folding functionality, which means that you can collapse the titles. So if you collect something below a title, then you can use it just to say it out loud, to repeat what you've put in there, and you can use it as a really efficient learning tool. And these are only the first basic things that came to my mind. I even saw someone using Obsidian to organize a role-playing game. The notes were some different places, and he realized that the connections between these places with links. So it's really powerful, and only your imagination is the limit. I tried to set up some quick demos for you. First demo is going to be about the basics. Just a note creation, how the note looks like, how you can put links between the notes, what are the backlinks, how do they work, what are these unlinked mentions, I'm going to show you soon, how you can navigate between the notes, some tags. I will show you the graph about the links, which is not going to be that big because I'm only going to create some couple of notes, and the search functionality. So I already set up a vault for you. The notes are usually collected in vaults. You can have multiple ones. I set up one for the brown bag. I have my own stuff under the work vault. I'm going to work now in the brown bag vault. It's just a folder on your machine, and you can create new notes if you want through different ways, with a shortcut, with a menu item, whichever you want to. Let's start with just making a note. I would like to write down, so I'm working on a custom delay filter functionality in one of my projects. Okay, the body of the note is in Markdown format. I won't go too deep into the details of the Markdown. Maybe it's going to be another brown bag, or you can look it up and learn about it if you want to. It's just a formatted plain text. So the feature, I have to give a name for the note, which is going to be the file name. And then, yeah, I would like to repeat that as a main title here. And I would like to tag it somehow. So when did I create this note? It was today. Maybe the project on which I'm working on. That's the teaser, for instance. That's an internal project. Yeah, and maybe I would like to tag it somehow. What's the status of this? It's, I don't know, in planning. And I can start writing in a markdown format with header 2s, requirements, text, bullet points, these are all markdown features which you can use out of the box. Yeah, I will stop the text here because I would like to focus on linking. So links are wiki links, which means that if I would like to link to somewhere else, I can use the double quotes. As you can see, it's already showing you a pop-up with all the possible nodes that you have in your vault, and if you start typing, it is going to auto select the most visible one for you. I can even wrap this around in let's use an internal command, add internal link. It's going to wrap the text that I selected into a link as well. This is a link, but there's nothing behind it. The teaser node is not existing yet. As you can see, it's grayed out. So let's click on it, and then the node is created for you, and then I can just write something about the teaser project. I won't write something to you because it's top secret. But as you can see, creating connections to new nodes is pretty easy. You just have to use the wiki syntax. What maybe I would like to show you is the backlinking functionality. So there's a feature that you can turn on or off in the Obsidian, with which you will see this current node is referenced from where. And you will see here, there are link mentions. In the custom delay filter node, this node is referenced. So you can navigate back and forth between the links. You can not only select one link and go to the node, but if you're interested from which nodes is this node accessible, then here in the backlinks, you can just quickly look it up. And maybe another interesting thing is that if I'm creating another node and I'm mentioning this node here, not as a link, but as a text. Let's see whether it is going to be able to pick it up. Yeah. So in the backlinks, it is found that a text with the same content is found in one of the other nodes, and it's not linked. And it gives you the possibility right away to make a link to it. I think it's pretty useful. You can connect quickly nodes to each other through this tool, and then you can improve the cohesion between your nodes as well. Okay. Were there any other things that I wanted to mention you? Linking, oh yeah, the tags. So not only links you can add to your nodes, but you can, of course, with the hashtag define tags. But to be able to see them and see where these tags are mentioned in the nodes, you have to turn them on, and you will find it in the settings under core plugins. Let's turn on the tag pane. And in the tag pane, there is another tab, and you will see there's a tag found somewhere. This in planning tag is referenced only once, and if you click on it, then it will bring up the search box for you, and you can see all the nodes where this in planning tag is mentioned. It can be useful, although maybe later I'm going to tell more about it, why it's not maybe the best thing. The tags have some capabilities, don't have any capabilities that that the nodes themselves maybe can have. But let's get to this back later. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to show you is the graph between the nodes. It's not going to be too big. As you can see, we have only 3 nodes. But I don't know, there's too much light here, but you can see probably the lines that are the connections between the nodes. If you have a lot of nodes, maybe if you are doing some daily logs, if you're logging what you're doing, you put some text there mentioning tasks or projects or just some features or any tools that you found, then this graph can grow pretty big. and it is going to help you navigate, or maybe it's going even going to help you find new connections between nodes. So far so good, but actually this is not really powerful yet. So how can we make this more powerful? And this is where I would like to show you what I did to set up a personal work log tool. My requirements were that I really would like to log what I'm working on. I'm doing that infrequently. When it just comes to my mind, or when unit tests are running, I'm just logging what I'm working on right now. And I want this to be seamless. I don't want this to break the flow of the work, which means that it should be really lightweight. So let's set up a quick flow here, how you can do that. I'm just going to start with the daily note. I would like to set up a work log. So let's create the note for today. This is going to be a daily note, daily log. And with the bullet points, I can write here maybe, yeah, it's 10:19. I'm doing my brown bag session with some typos involved. Okay, this seems a little bit cumbersome. So if I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow, I will create another note. Maybe I'm going to copy everything that I did here to the other node, just remove everything, and do another log. It's not the best way to do that. So yeah, let's create a template, daily log template. I'm going to copy the stuff here. This is pretty basic. So this is the template that I'm going to use when I'm creating new nodes for every day. I can open this node via Control O. So I can just go to the daily log template, select everything, and then just move to my current day's node and put it here, and then I can start extending. It's still too cumbersome. So let's start to use some plugins. There are two types of plugins for Obsidian. The first type are the core plugins, which are built into the Obsidian, and the other one is the community plugins, where some plugins that can be found on GitHub or some other repositories or hosted somewhere, the Obsidian team selects some and they make these available through the community plugins page. But for our current needs, we need a core plugin, and that's the daily notes plugin. Let's turn this on. We've got another button here on the right, open today's daily note. And if you click on it, it's going to bring up the today's note, where it is looking for a note where the name is actually the date of the current day. Good. I can already create a daily note and put stuff there, but it's still not good enough. Let's configure this stuff up a little bit. In the daily notes, I can say that, yeah, let's look for files with this file format, year, month, day. And I can even, maybe I can put them into the root folder, but I think it is going to be nicer if I would put them into a subfolder. So let's create a subfolder, set up a subfolder for that. And there is a template. You can set up a template that it's going to use just to copy into the body of the current day's note. Yeah, let's select of course not the custom delay filter. I would like to use the daily log template. And I always start with my daily note when I start working every day. So if I'm starting up the Obsidian, it should start with my today's note opened already. Good. This is one step that we can do here with the daily notes. I already showed you the templates. Maybe we can make it even fancier. And now I'm going to put in a plugin that's not a core plugin anymore. That's a community plugin. And to access that, you need to explicitly say, okay, I would like to turn off safe mode so that I can access the community plugins. Here, as you can see, there are a lot of, I don't know how many, 500, more than 500 plugins are accessible here. And as you can see, they are sorted by downloads, and the calendar is the second most downloaded tool. Let's download this one and turn this on. There's another tab here with the calendar. These plugins are actually written in JavaScript, so anyone who would like to create or write their own extensions, they can do that with JavaScript. I'm usually putting it here. And then you can navigate and create daily notes for each of the days that you would like to go to, or yeah. And in the calendar, it's much easier to navigate between the daily notes. Good. Okay. Now the process, my process would look like this. If I would like to put a daily log into my daily notes, then I'll navigate to the Obsidian or start the Obsidian, navigate to today's daily note, and then just extend it maybe with a timestamp. It's good, but it's still too cumbersome. And it means that I'm still switching context, although it doesn't take that much time, but I'm still switching context. So maybe there are some other tools with which I can make this more performant, and maybe I can integrate this much more seamlessly into my daily flow. Let's use another tool called Quick Add. I will turn this on as well. Now, under the plugins, there's going to be a new entry, the Quick Add. I'm going to create a new Quick Add template, add log to daily note. And it's going to be a capture, so it's going to ask for some text. Let's set this up. There are some resources on the YouTube for this, even some 40-minute long how-tos. I'm just going to focus on one aspect that it can be useful for doing daily work logs. We are going to capture to the daily notes, under the daily notes, with the note where the format is I think with double quotes, yeah. So it can replace some variables for you in these settings. So I'm telling here that please, if I'm doing this quick add, then whatever I'm adding or I'm entering as a text, please put it into a note which is under the daily notes and has the current date's file name. I would like to insert the text which I'm entering after the log header. And because I'm doing a work log, which means that mostly these logs are going to be one after the other, I would like to insert it at the end of this log section. And I can define a capture format. It should be a bullet point. And I think there is a value. Yeah, there's the value. So the value that I'm entering into an input text box is going to put in this format under the log header. If you want, you can still extend this with, I don't know, maybe the current timestamp. Good. And just to be a bit more quicker, I'm going to put this into the list of accessible comments. So right now, if I would like to put a text into my daily log, it doesn't matter where I am. Maybe I'm under the custom delay filter. I would like to add the daily log. Let's open the command palette with the Control P and add log to daily node. It's there. It opens up an input box. I can enter some text. Now I'm talking about QuickAdd. And if everything goes well, it has put the text into the current today's node under the log section. And if I'm doing it again, add log the daily node, it's going to put it below the text. Maybe I put too much enter in the capture format that can be adjusted. Okay, and one other thing, because to be able to do this, I still need to switch to QuickAdd. There's another plugin which I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to set it up. It's the global hotkeys. That's actually an Electron feature, and with that you can register global shortcuts for instance, for Obsidian commandos or commands. And with that, you can set it up in a way so wherever you are, if you're working in Visual Studio Code in some IDE, then you can just fire the shortcut. It's going to bring Obsidian to the front, open this QuickAdd. You will just type quickly what you're working on right now, and then you can continue working in the application where you were working on. So I would say this is now a pretty seamless way of logging what you're doing right now. And for me, it helped a lot just to keep track of what I'm doing, and it made my life much easier when it comes to booking the hours in our booking system. Good. This was the second demo. I don't think I'm going to have time for the third demo, where I wanted to show you that there are some community plugins with which you can define queries on the nodes themselves. And with these queries, you can actually make a list of tasks in the nodes, and then you can put it aside into a separate sidebar, and then you will see all the open tasks that you've created in the past days. And if you're clicking on them, you can maybe remove the already done tasks from the list. Yeah, I think I'm starting to run out of time, so I'm going to skip this. And I wanted to mention you some additional plugins, community plugins that I tried out and I found really useful. One is the editor syntax highlight, which is for the block quotes, where you want to enter some code snippets. You can specify the language, and it's going to syntax highlight the language, the code snippet for you based on the language. Another useful stuff is the Kindle highlights, where you can integrate your Obsidian together with your Kindles. And if you are reading books, some technical books, and you make some notes there, it can synchronize the notes from the books into your Obsidian vault, which means that then every knowledge that you've collected is going to be in one place, and then you can create links between these knowledge snippets that you have. Another useful stuff is the slides. You can just set up a node where you separate chunks of the text with 3 minus signs, and then there's going to be a start slideshow with which you can actually start presenting the same node that you've created. And there's the global hotkeys that I already mentioned to you. This knowledge management is really a rabbit hole, and you can go really deep into it. I already showed you the tool, the Obsidian, with which you can start managing knowledge or worklog or diaries or whatnot. There are some really scientific tools with which you can start organizing these nodes and find new connections between these nodes. One is, for instance, the Zeta custom, which I think would deserve a completely separate brown bag. I think that's going to be the next thing I'm going to dip my feet into. Some useful things that I wanted to say is that I mentioned that you can use tags, but the problem with the tags is that you cannot attach meta information to the tag. The tag is only going to appear in a list. You can click on it and you will see which nodes are referring to that tag. But if you would like, for instance, to add metadata to that tag, the status is in progress that I showed you. What does it mean, the in progress? So the tag is not, in these cases, the tag is not the correct way to solve things. The links between the nodes and the nodes is always a better way, because it is, I think it's much more powerful than the tags. The other thing I wanted to mention are to avoid folders. I show you the folder view, but the folder view can put you off. Just hide the folder view and start linking the nodes together. And then your knowledge base is going to grow organically, and the connections are going to emerge from this cloud, from this system. And other points here, there's a possibility to sync between devices if you want to use this multi-platform application on multiple platforms. I even tried it out with speech-to-text in Windows, which resulted in a pretty good note. So if you want to do that, try it out. And so on and so on. This is really a rabbit hole, but my time is up and I cannot go deeper into that. If you're interested, Obsidian is under the obsidian.md. You can download it from there, and the forum is really good, the community is really good there. Go there and find your own way of organizing your knowledge.